If couples say they love your work but still disappear, the problem is probably not your work. That's one of the most frustrating things in this business. A couple reaches out, you look at their wedding, it seems like a great fit, and you get excited and you think, this could be a really good booking. Then you reply and hear nothing. No answer, no next step, no booked call, just silence. If that keeps happening to you, I want you to hear this very clearly. Ghosting is usually not just a portfolio problem. A lot of the time, it's a trust problem, a response problem, or a process problem. Now, of course, sometimes a couple just goes another way. That happens. Sometimes they pick someone cheaper, sometimes they book a friend, sometimes the timing is just off. But if ghosting is happening again and again, it's probably not random. It's usually a sign that something in your process is leaking. And this matters because a lot of wedding photographers and videographers blame the wrong thing. They say, maybe they just couldn't afford me, or maybe they found someone more talented, or maybe the market's just slow. And sure, once in a while those things are true, but a lot of the time the real reason is much simpler. You replied too slow, you sounded too generic, you sent pricing too early, or you gave them the information before you gave them trust. And that's the real problem, because loving your work isn't the same thing as trusting you. A couple can love your work, they can love your photos, they can love your videos, they can love your website, and they can still not feel ready to move forward. Why is that? Because they're not just buying your work. They're buying the feeling that their wedding is in good hands. They're buying peace of mind, they're buying confidence, and they're buying the feeling that you understand them. And if your process doesn't help them feel that, they stay unsure. And when people feel unsure, they wait, they compare, or they disappear. So let's make this practical. I want to walk you through the 4 biggest reasons that people ghost you after an inquiry, and then I'll show you what to do instead. The first reason is slow follow-up. This one is simple because speed matters. When someone fills out your contact form, that's when their interest is the highest, and that's when the emotion is fresh. That's when they're curious. It's when they're the most open. If you wait too long, the energy drops. Now they're talking to other vendors, now they're distracted, now the moment is colder. So here's a simple rule. Just reply as fast as you reasonably can. Not in 3 days, not when you get to it, just as soon as possible. That doesn't mean you need to be chained to your phone all day. It just means you need a system. Set a standard for yourself. Maybe the standard's within an hour during business hours. Maybe it's the same day every time. But pick a standard and stick to it. Because fast follow-up doesn't just help you reply first, it also signals that you're attentive and on it. And that builds trust. The second reason people ghost is generic replies. A lot of wedding creatives send responses that sound fine but feel forgettable. Something like, thanks so much for reaching out. I'd love to learn more about your big day. Here's my pricing guide. That's polite, but it's also bland. It could have come from almost anyone. It doesn't make the couple feel seen, and it definitely doesn't show that you actually read what they sent. It doesn't create warmth, and it doesn't create connection. So here's a better move. In your reply, simply mention one real detail from their inquiry. Maybe it's the venue, maybe it's the date, maybe it's something they said they cared about. Maybe they said they wanted the day to feel relaxed and candid. Maybe they said family moments matter the most. Just use that. You can say something like, thanks so much for reaching out. I checked out your venue and it looks amazing. Also, I love that you said you want the day to feel relaxed and natural. That's a huge part of how I like to work too. Can you see the difference? That feels human, it feels real, and it feels like you actually paid attention, and that matters way more than people think. The third reason people ghost is sending pricing too early. This is one of the biggest mistakes in the wedding industry. A couple reaches out, you want to be efficient, so you just send your pricing right away. And then you think this will save time. But what usually happens is this. They look at the numbers without any context. They compare you to everyone else. And now you're just another price in their inbox. And that's dangerous because pricing makes the most sense after trust has started to build and after they feel some sort of connection. Think about after they understand what makes you different and after they feel like you might actually be the right fit for them. Before that, it's just a number, and numbers without context just create price shoppers. So instead of going straight to pricing, move towards a conversation instead. Not a giant sales pitch, just a real next step. You can say something like, I'd love to hear a little more about what matters to you before I point you in the right direction. And that's simple, it's low pressure, and it changes the energy. Now it's not just an information exchange, now it's a relationship starting. The fourth reason that people ghost is weak trust before the next step. This is the big one that sits under everything else. The truth is, a lot of people are trying to move their couples forward before they feel ready. They're trying to book the call before the couple feels warm. They're trying to get a yes before the couple feels understood. That's why ghosting happens, because the couple's still unsure. So your job is to reduce uncertainty, and that's what good follow follow-up does. It makes the next step feel easier, it makes you feel safer, and it makes the couple think, okay, this person seems solid. So let me give you a very simple follow-up framework that you can use. When an inquiry comes in, your reply should do 4 things. First, acknowledge them and thank them for reaching out. Second, personalize it. Mention one real detail from what they sent. Third, build a little trust. Say something that shows how you think, how you work, or what you actually care about. And fourth, guide the next step. Invite them into a short call or conversation in a calm and clear way. Here's an example. Hey, name, thanks so much for reaching out. Your wedding at whatever venue looks like it's going to be beautiful. I also love that you said you want the day to feel fun and easy and not overly posed. That's a big part of how I work with my couples. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what matters most to you and see if I'm the right fit. If you want, we can set up a quick call this week. It's simple, it's clear, and it's warm. And that is so much better than just dumping a PDF into their inbox. Now, I also want you to understand something important. Ghosting is rarely just one isolated issue. Better lead quality helps, better follow-up helps, better consultation structure helps. All of it works together. If the lead quality is bad, you get more bad fit inquiries. If your follow-up is weak, warm leads go cold. And if the consultation's messy, interested couples stay unsure. That's why this is bigger than just one message template. This is about a whole system, and I've seen how big that shift can be. Even in the proof that I share in my training, there are wedding creatives who were getting ghosted all the time, and after fixing their systems, they moved into stronger bookings and higher prices. The point isn't just the result changed, the process changed. So if you're getting ghosted right now, here's what I want you to do after this video. Go look at your last 5 inquiries, not the last 50, just 5 of them, and ask these 4 questions. Did I reply fast? Did I make the response feel personal? Did I send pricing too early? Or did I move the lead towards a real conversation? This little audit will tell you a lot, because talented wedding creatives stay stuck because they're missing a system, not because they need to get better at their work. And ghosting is one of the clearest signs that your system needs work. So stop assuming every ghosted lead was a bad one. Sometimes it was, but a lot of the time the real problem is that trust was never built. The process was too cold, or the next step was too weak. If ghosting's the bottleneck in your business, watch the free training at the first link below. I break down how to fix the process and not just blame your couples.